Arsenal versus Manchester United. A super crucial win for both these teams. And obviously the El Clasico returns, well, the English El Clasico returns back to your screens. And for this episode, obviously, as always, on Dave and Aaron, we have Dave and Aaron. How you doing, Aaron, bro?
Not too bad, bro. Not too bad, bro. Yeah, looking forward to this one. Looking forward to the game as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's obviously get straight into it because Arsenal Man United is always going to be a big match. We love this match. I love watching this match as a neutral. Obviously, you're not yourself as a neutral, but Aaron is going to try and be as non-biased as possible here and just give his insights into the game as a Manchester United fan. Obviously, Carrick taking over recently as manager, and can that be essentially the man they need to really disturb Arsenal at the Emirates? So, Aaron, obviously it's a must-win at the Emirates for both of these teams. I'm looking at probably Manchester United really needing this to try and get into that top four positioning, obviously just behind Liverpool as well. So, what are you thinking about this match in terms of Man United? It's going to be a very tough game. We obviously watched the Inter match, but I think Manchester United will be a different proposition, much quicker tempo in their football, how they're playing, the type of players that they have that can really disturb Arsenal's defence. So what are you thinking in terms of first of all, Arsenal and why they need this win? What do you think of that?
Well, I kind of feel like with the result that we had against City, I feel like the optimism is out there of whether Manchester United could deliver another performance. And I feel like that's the kind of prevalent thing that people are feeling, like, because there's been many false storms with Man United, even under Ruben Amorim, where we might get a bit of a performance and then the next game is just flat. So that's always in the back of my mind. Do you mean like Carrick's only had one game and the players have like proven to be a bit, untrustworthy, if I can use that word, in terms of consistency. So I'm aware of that. I'm still very, very gassed over the result at City and the way we played and the energy. As I said in the last video, I kind of feel like Arsenal will be a completely different proposition to Man City. I feel like Arsenal's kind of heads are in the game at the moment. I know they've had a little bit of a blip, as a few Arsenal fans in the comments of the last video alluded to. This is maybe their blippy period as well, but no one's capitalized at the minute. But in terms of the game, Arsenal against Inter Milan the other day, sort of saw what they were about. Obviously, we talked about the tactical thing where they stifle their opponents. They try not to make them play. And then obviously, can really, really do you with the set pieces, but also they can play football as well. And obviously, United's defence didn't really get tested too much against Man City the other day. So it's up for debate whether we can sort of see it like that, taking that form from Man City into this game. Do you know what I mean? But I might be sounding a bit negative, but I'm just trying to keep my expectations kind of on a level and not get too gassed over one performance. I feel like we have to drag ourselves back into reality a bit and know that although the incentive for us to get top four is massive because we've only got, maybe 40 games this season because of the disappointment in cups, Arsenal also have a title to try and win as well.
True.
That's where it stands in my brain at the moment, Dave.
And obviously United's season, I wouldn't say it's on the line, but there is verging towards it because it's the only thing you really have to fight for. Obviously the disappointment in the domestic trophies, we know that, and not having European football anywhere in the first place, we know that. And this whole situation, this whole match with Arsenal is maybe the actual stepping stone that Manchester United need to get the momentum running with Carrick as the manager, trying to put the pieces in the formation that he wants for Man United to have a successful season, regardless of all the downhill curves that you faced as a team. I think Arsenal definitely going to know that. They know Man United is going to be up for the game. And we know, guys, as fans, you guys out there as well, we know as fans that Arsenal-Manchester United, this game is always a big game. It's always a game when Manchester United turn up. Even Amorim turns up. His team turned up against Arsenal. And this is the same thing. So, obviously, Man United season on the line. But what do you think are the implications of this match in particular? Obviously, you said the title. Obviously, Arsenal. will Arsenal allow Man City to get back into the title race if they don't win? And will Man United just go, okay, sod this. Okay, we might be fighting for Europa League here instead of Champions League. So what are the complete implications for this, do you think, from Man United perspective first, and then go to Arsenal after?
Well, there's always the kind of thing with Man United where if Arsenal are more successful, we're going to bring them down a peg. And I think the same as if Man United were in that position. Do you know what I mean? There's like that honour in it where you say, do you know what I mean? If we can put a dent in Arsenal's title hopes, then that's just what the rivalry dictates. Do you know what I mean? It's been there since I was a kid growing up in the 90s.
Same, yeah.
2000s, everything like that. It was Man United, Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like, Overmars, Nicholas Anelka scoring goals, Ljungberg. Do you know what I mean? Like, FA Cup, Giggsy, Schmeichel. So the history's there. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a fierce rivalry. So I'm not taking that away from it. Do you know what I mean? I would like to win for bragging rights. I would like to win to kind of maybe knock them off their perch a little bit as well. So that incentive's there. Arsenal, just big time. They've got to win a title. They've got a point to prove. It's been 20 years. Do you mean we were talking in the other video about whether the Champions League or the Premier League might be of more significance to Arsenal? But I think the Premier League is always your bread and butter, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I feel like Arsenal, I don't know, if you did a poll and asked the fans what trophy they would want to win, I don't know, the Champions League's huge as well, though, bro. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
But yeah, I think definitely the Premier League is what I think the Arsenal faithful will want.
Absolutely. And I definitely think it's just going to come down to a tactical battle between Arteta and Michael Carrick in terms of how they lay out their teams. And if I go, obviously, into the last match against Manchester City, for example, and that team there, we saw the lineup of Lemans in goal, Dalot, Harry Maguire, Martinez, Shaw in the back four, of course, since Carrick's come in, and obviously just before that as well with Darren Fletcher, the back four has been preferable, and we've seen the team favour it more. Let's just be honest.
Has to be a back four. Has to be a back four. Yeah.
Casemiro, Kobe Mainu in the midfield as well. Obviously had a great job against Man City. Diallo, Fernandes, Dorgu on the left wing, essentially playing as a very high pace winger, and obviously got his goal, and then Mbeumo up front. So, do you think that Carrick will go for that same lineup against Arsenal, or do you think he would prefer to differ now?
I think like the same lineup is probably wise, given the fact that he got a tune out of them, and maybe sort of like working with them during the week. Now that he has a bit more time than 3 days to work with them, he might have said that Mazraoui's probably might be back from the AFCON, and there might be a bit more options there now that tournament's over. In terms of the back line, I think leave it alone. Dalot would be my only worry, as I mentioned with Mazraoui coming in, because I hope Mazraoui is available. I don't know if he's back yet or whatever, but I think Dalot would be my only worry in that system, really. But he didn't perform too badly, but just he can switch off sometimes, and I feel like in that position it's going to be quite crucial for us to sort of defend and start attacks as well. So out of the lineup that started with City, I think Dalot would be my only worry.
Absolutely. And I think for Arsenal, obviously their lineup against Inter, we saw David Raya, Timber, Saliba, Mosquera, Luis Squeli, Eze, Zubimendi, Marino. I think Declan Rice is going to fit into this squad.
I think all the big hitters will be back for Arsenal.
Yeah, all the big hitters will be back. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Saka. Gabriel Jesus, I think, will start against Man United. I definitely predict that.
You think him over Gyökeres, yeah?
Yeah, I would prefer Jesus over Gyökeres. I think Jesus has the technique in his game to really disturb the back two.
Gyökeres didn't get a bad goal the other day, don't he?
It wasn't a bad goal, but Jesus is just he's so good in the box. Like, he's just a very slippery guy, and he just can get away from defenders, and he uses his body well and his stature well for his size. Like, he's got a very, very good quick turn of pace and has great technique to him in terms of shooting ability and so forth.
Is Havertz available?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I'm not entirely sure. But he was on the bench, obviously, Inter. So I don't think Havertz will start for this game. I think they will go for the same front three in Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, and Saka. I've got to be honest on that one. I think ultimately that front three is definitely going to be a big hit front three against Man United. So I think the key matchups, personally, if I look at it, the key matchups...
It's definitely in the middle, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the middle of the park, like we said. The middle of, obviously, Casemiro and the Mainu, which you played against Man City, against Rice Eze, potentially Zubimendi, or there's different. You could put Erdegaard to be a bit more creative in the
creative
midfield
in there.
as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure. I think that the two defensive midfielders of Man United are going to have a very, very tough game. And, well, obviously Mainoo's going to step up, but Casemiro is obviously your commander, your controller in the midfield as well, and stopper in terms of how he's going to try and destabilize the play, because Casemiro is Casemiro. He does his duties, isn't it? So I know as a Real Madrid fan what Casemiro is up for. So I think Mainoo's going to have a great game if he starts for Man United this game. I think Mainoo's a very crucial guy, because Mainoo has all the technique in the world, honestly. And everybody was calling for free Mainoo under Amorim. And look, he had a decent performance against Man City. So I think against Arsenal, I think he'd be a crucial player. So what do you think are going to be the tactical battles here for both teams?
Well, looking at it through the prism of how Arteta might have went about the game if Amorim was in charge would have been completely different. So I feel like United hiring a new manager, whatever he was planning, I think he has to change. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like, United have changed over the last week or so. So you're right about the battle being in the middle. I feel like Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro, if they do start, are going to basically kind of be a very important sort of like, for one, kind of like doubling up with the defense and stopping Arsenal kind of doing that central then to the wing stuff, dictating the tempo. I feel like if we get 60 minutes out of Casemiro in that destroyer role, I'll be happy. And then maybe hopefully bring on Nagate to sort of short up again. I think that's what would probably makes more sense, because I think Casemiro will have to do some yards this game. And as I said in the last video, I feel like the thing for Man United to stop is Arsenal getting out, and then obviously getting Saka on the ball, or getting, Trossard or Martinelli on the other side, whoever they decide to play, from moving it. When Arsenal get it and move it inside, then back out again, I think it's very kind of hard to stop them. So I feel like restricting that movement, I feel like the wing backs again are going to have to, which is why I said I prefer maybe Mazraoui rather than Dalot. I feel like that would be an important battle, and then maybe getting it into players like Bruno for Man United to sort of, come inside and maybe float those balls over the top like we did against City. I kind of feel like, I don't feel it's going to be dissimilar. It'll have to be a different performance, but I don't feel like the kind of tactical plan will be dissimilar for Man United. In terms of Arsenal, I think the onus is on more for them to maybe attack us, because I feel like the game is more important for their progression. So I expect Arsenal to come on to United a bit more than United coming on to them. But yeah, it's all interpretable at the moment. But that's my kind of guess of the way I feel like that will go.
Yeah, I think this game will be won in the midfield. I absolutely agree. I think if Man United stop Arsenal and they play what they know best, is that quick transition up the pitch. They don't want to start messing around with the ball too much. They can't get into a possession battle with Arsenal. They'll lose. I've got to be honest. They will lose. Arsenal will definitely lose. It will win if they start maintaining the ball a lot and they start finding the angles that they need to cut in behind the Man United defense. They're always going to find those, especially with Saka. And that's why I say that Odegaard may be the guy for this match, because he'll try and find those passes directly through the defense, try and open up certain passing lanes that he can make essentially by himself out of thin air. And I've seen Odegaard do it before, but it's all up to the defense, and it's all up to Man United and how they transition. So do you see maybe Cunha featuring in this match as well? I'm not entirely sure. I think Cunha could be a very decent player for this match in terms of his technique, and especially in tight spaces where, Arsenal's press how they did against Inter. They could see that Cunha's the kind of player that will really be good at that. Bruno Fernandes will get really flustered in that kind of situation. I've got to be honest.
Keep Bruno where he is. Yeah, obviously, do you know what I mean? Like in that 10 role kind of floating as well. But I would say I liked Patrick Dorgu's energy against City. I like the industriousness of going backward with the forward. Obviously, kind of found himself quite able to sort of get into some very dangerous areas in the box and score a goal, and obviously help Luke Shaw out as well, sort of thing. So I think maybe his energy would be more preferable than obviously the kind of maybe flair of Cunha. And maybe that's something we can leave in surprise for later on in the game if we do need to change it up.
60 minutes down the line, I would say, about that.
Yeah. But obviously it depends on how the first half goes, really. Do you know what I mean? Man United and Arsenal from back in the day, you can never tell exactly which way it's going to go, regardless of who's the better team at the time.
Absolutely. And obviously Amad Diallo is going to be a very crucial player. I think Amad Diallo against against the defense, I think he could be one of the most dangerous weapons that Man United have,
Yeah,
especially with his quick turn of pace and how he can just drive at the defense. Arsenal will have trouble there. However, Arsenal have so many weapons themselves, man. I can't look past their set pieces. I can't look past
that's a
their
danger.
natural physicality.
I mean, look at the last games we played against them and how they hammered us with those corners, especially. We like at one stage with Ruben Amorim, we just could not defend any set pieces. So I think obviously it was something that got a little bit better, and I kind of saw against Man City, although it wasn't the same kind of way of thinking in terms of the set pieces. We dealt with them quite well, but obviously that set piece danger, that toughness you're going to need to sort of like stop guys like Gabriel and Saliba, and like, I hope we can maybe sort of nullify that. But I think teams all over Europe find that hard to nullify.
Absolutely, I do agree, and like their natural ability to fizz in across, pinpoint back post.
Yeah. Declan Rice, Saka,
Seen it so many times. Sorry, I was about to mention Rice because I think Rice, for me personally, with Vitinha, probably is the best midfielder in the world. I've got to say, like, these two are just head and shoulders above everybody. I mean, Real Madrid have some decent midfielders, but Declan Rice is just a different monster. This guy can pick up the ball from an interception and just drive through the heart of the midfield without no worries or nobody troubling him because of his physical stature and his the way that he drives at any specific area of the cross of pitch. It's a mammoth to handle. And I tell you what, the Man United midfield, they're gonna have definitely worries about that. I definitely think. What do you think about Declan Rice's impact in this game? Probably.
Well, ever since he joined Arsenal, he just seems to go up and up and up and up a level,
Different
really,
level
and
notch,
he's become a bit of a general for them, really. And I kind of feel like, you know, he contributes in the attacking phase. He contributes with goals. He gets assists. He's always a nuisance in the box. He can obviously effectively take their corners to sort of like trigger these set piece goals. So he's kind of a crucial part of Arsenal's, you know, sort of system. And I feel like, the battle with Casemiro and Mainu sort of, you know, in the middle with him, keeping him quiet and not letting him dictate play, will be quite important. But I agree with you. He's playing to a very, very high level, and I don't think there's much midfielders in the game at the moment that are really much
on his level.
Level.
Exactly, yeah. People have said Bellingham. I don't think Bellingham's anywhere near Declan Rice this season. I've got to be honest, personally.
No, not this season, no.
Yeah,
no.
not this season.
No.
But I'm going to obviously round it up, obviously, with the final thoughts and final predictions. So let's obviously go two ways. I think Arsenal are the most likely team to win it because they're at home. They have obviously their fans behind them. And I predict Arsenal to be, at the end of the game, just too strong in certain areas for Man United. I'm looking at maybe not the wingers. I think that will be a great fought battle. I think the central of the park is going to be super crucial. And
whoever wins that battle.
Yeah, whoever wins that battle. I think Zubimendi, Declan Rice, those two, with whoever's in front, either Eze or Odegaard, is going to be such a big game changer for this match. I think Declan Rice and Zubimendi, the way they naturally control the tempo of the game, I can see Man United genuinely chasing shadows throughout the match. However, I think that the shadows itself of this whole tie in its history just nullifies that completely. I think there's certain portions of the match that Man United will have and be successful in, and there's going to be a majority of the match also where Arsenal have and be successful in. So I genuinely think this is going to be a tough match. But at the end of it, and my prediction for this game, I definitely think that Arsenal would win. I was going to say 3-1 to Arsenal.
3-1?
Personally. So obviously as a Man United fan, give obviously the most... The genuine score prediction that you feel can be obviously in this match.
I think when you originally brought up the subjects, I was thinking it could be 3-1 either way. So I feel like if Man United play well and excel, I feel if I'm going to go with my Man United hat on, I'd say I think I'm predicting 3-1 for Man United. But on the other way, I'm well, I'd also say 3-1.
Without the Man United.
Without the Man United, I could say
Yeah.
Arsenal could easily win 3-1 as well. But I don't know. That's just the way I feel, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I might get some bollocks in the chat for that, but you know.
But you got to support the boys, innit? You got to support the boys, innit?
I am, my neutrality stops when it comes to the result, and I'm always going to back my lads against Arsenal. And you know, it's a game that I think, you know, the lads shouldn't have to think about getting up for. It's Man United Arsenal. So do you know what I mean? Like, you know, if I get egg on my face at the final whistle, do you know what I mean? You know, that's it. But yeah, 3-1 either way.
3-1 either way. Well, guys, obviously, what do you predict in the comment section below? Let me know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts, obviously. And we're going to be covering the match reaction after the game between Arsenal and Man United. It's going to be a very, very big game. Very, very big test. And yeah, it should be going in either way. I'm not entirely sure. We don't know with this tie ever in our history. We don't know. It's like Real Madrid, Barcelona. One team could be 14th, one team could be first, and the other team batters the other team. Who knows, mate? Yeah, it's always going to be this with the English El Clasico between Arsenal and Man United, especially from our era, the 90s era.
I think Carrick and the Man City game bring a special spice to the game also as well. So do you know what I mean? It's like, I think if we had Ruben in charge, I wouldn't be confident at all.
If you had Ruben in charge, you probably couldn't even put your Man United hat on and predict a scoreline that would be Man United win, because I have no idea. But guys, obviously, if you are in the chat and if you're in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts, obviously, for this match between Arsenal and Man United. We're going to be doing the match reaction after the game live. We'll see what happens with this game, but ultimately, it's a big, big tie, and let's see how this unfolds. But Aaron, any final thoughts before we sign out from this video live stream?
No, man, just everybody, you know, we're going to do the reaction after the game. Obviously, I might be a bit smiley or I might be a bit angry after the game, but I'll be with Dave, and we'll see. Yeah, you know, a big game. Man United, Arsenal, always a big deal. Let's have it.
Absolutely. But guys, take care. Adios. Yeah. And for the last time in today's video, I want to say Ala Madrid because it's a bigger game than that. Trust me in this one. And I'm not going to say come on you Gunners or up the Reds or up the Devils or whatever. Yeah, I'll leave Aaron to say that. Aaron, in 3, 2, 1, you can say whatever you want.
Glory, glory, Man United.
Anyway, guys, take care. Adios and enjoy the game on the weekend. Take care, people.